what I think is also really interesting is the Pacers. I didn't even know this happened until today. A coworker mentioned it to me. I said, "Wait, what they do? They went and got a pick back?" And he said, "Yeah, they got their first round pick from next year from somebody or something like that on the 18th or the 17th, I believe, last week. They made a trade with New Orleans, giving up the rights to a player they selected last year. I've never heard of this guy, Mojave King, and the 23rd pick in this year's draft, along with a couple distant second round picks to New Orleans for their 26th first round pick that New Orleans acquired in previous deals. And this happened, I'll fact check the date, either right before Game 6 or between Game 6 and Game 7. That's almost eerie and suspiciously proactive, if you ask me. What team is conducting trades while they're in the NBA Finals? Don't know what precedent there is for that. B, I'm not trying to connect the dots too far, but this is just where my mind's going. Talking about how personnel are diagnosing players and what they really feel versus them leaving the decision ultimately maybe to the player. It's hard not to connect some of those dots and think that, hey, look, as an organization, we're all having honest conversations behind closed doors when the players exit. What if Haliburton plays? We know what could happen because history repeats itself. The team doctors are telling us there's a risk of serious injury if he were to play. We might need to go get our first round pick back next year in event the worst case scenario does happen, and that would be a season-ending injury, essentially. If he's not here next year, yes, the Pacers could still try to be competitive and bring in players and do whatever they want to try and be a 7-8 seed. Who's to say they don't let guys walk this summer, take the foot off the gas?
No, I don't think so.
Pascal Siakam, highest bidder. I'm just saying, some of this foresight had to be in the room when they went and got this future first round pick. What was the urgency to go and do that then?
It's suspicious. You're right.
I'm not trying to go too far. My mind just did go there, and it makes me think like, hey, on half of it, hey, clap it up. That's why y'all get paid the big bucks. If that was the conversation. If you just got very fortunate and this had no relation, what a coincidence.
Yeah, I mean, they definitely knew there was a chance he would go down with an injury, and they took it, and it was a nice plan B scenario. It was in Tyrese, but that pick just became a lot more valuable. So who knows? Maybe they trade that pick to get some more star power next to Tyrese and Pascal and whoever. Man,
sure.
I don't want to go down that route. It's too suspicious.
I got you. Yeah, we can leave it right there. Sure. But it was savvy. It was, we can't, there's no denying that was an extremely savvy move to do that then. Whatever the reasons were, hey, we'll leave it up to the listener.
And it was a risk that they really had to take.
By playing him?
Did we ever expect Indiana to make it to the finals? Did you? I mean, if I'm going to be honest, I really didn't see it. I
said it in the second round. I said, look, we wrote this team off against Milwaukee. They're giving work to Cleveland. Oh, bro, I pulled the tweet up. The first in the opening minutes of Game 1, I said Cleveland's in trouble. I'm so serious because I said, oh no, This isn't going to be good for them whatsoever. I respected Indiana. They were playing incredible ball in March. They were borderline third seed. And I went back into some of the writing I did this season, and I talked about them when they were struggling. In January, this team was like a 7-8 spot. Some of the text that I wrote was, it was a possible play-in preview in like a January match with them and the Bulls, saying they're hoping to not be on that play-in bubble by the time May and April comes, and they weren't. They locked in post All-Star break. They got guys like they got Mathurin, Nembhard, and Nesmith into the lineup when that wasn't the case all season long, and they peaked at the right time. Again, it's some of the homework. Said they were visibly better than Milwaukee, and against Cleveland, they were just fearless. I said this team doesn't go away for 48 minutes.
You raised a good point. You raised a great point.
If they had to see Boston, and then, my fault, if they had to see Boston, I asked my guy Terrell, because he's a diehard Pacers fan. And I said, Terrell, bro, talk to me about your boys before the playoffs began. And I said, and don't water it down. I know you're going to say look, man, I'm hoping that we just, no, talk to me about them. You think they're legit? Because I think they're legit. In terms of, you got a long day if you facing this team. And sort of sell me on that. And he was like, look, bro, they need the perfect storm. If some things go right, it can happen. And the perfect storm sort of played out.
You know what looks real good? Milwaukee. Milwaukee was defeated by Indiana. How many years in a row? 2 years?
Yeah, last year's rematch.
Last year's rematch. This year. Did they play each other in the first round this year?
Yep. 5 games. Dame got hurt in game 3.
Dame got hurt in game 3.
Didn't play game 1. Game 2, the Pacers were much better on the court with Dame. And game 3, he went down.
Dame, Tatum, and Hallie in the same postseason is crazy. With that being said, past few years, I thought Milwaukee was a fluke. I was like, this team has some problems. Losing to Indiana consistently, they proved me wrong. Indiana's they're a force to be reckoned with in the postseason. They're well coached. They got young players. They're hungry. They're savvy. They can talk trash. They step up in the fourth. Like when it's clutch time, any team that's up, if you're up by 10 with 2 minutes left against Indiana, I would be scared.
Yeah,
I don't want to be in that position.
Going into the finals, I was on our station for Sports Rap, and I said, look, the cliche is defense wins championships. We all have been talking about Oklahoma City's defense, but let's not get it twisted. Indiana plays defense too. We all talk about the offense and the pace. What generates the chaos? You can't be a fast-paced team and calm on defense. That's not the way energy works. You create it, and it's full court. Nembhard earned his respect. Taking on Brunson. Yo, what you mean? You don't know about Nembhard?
I like him.
Yeah.
There was no reason for Nembhard to be playing over TJ McConnell as much as he did in the finals. TJ was the guy after Tyrese off the bench, and Nembhard was just, anytime they bring it close, Nembhard will make 2-3 really bad decisions that would just flip the game in a completely different direction. He's a big shot maker. When it comes to like crucial decisions, I just wasn't a fan of Nembhard and Rick Carlisle putting him in instead of TJ McConnell. But that's just besides the point. I just have to get that off my chest.
Yeah, I do think there was a tad bit of exhaustion on Nembhard's part of just like, look, I'm gassing out. I've been picking up fools full court, and it worked in Game 6 when Carlisle pulled him back actually, and he had more juice in the tank come the second half. But I feel you. I'm not trying to make the case that he's a 5-star player yet or anything like that. But just on some like, look, y'all gonna have to respect it. He is a damn good defender. That's something that we can't take away from him right now.